So my name is Ronnie Barkan.
And why are you here today?
I'm here as an Israeli dissident who stands against everything the Zionist race state stands for.
I've got all your speech, which I will include. There's just one question that I want to address you with and answer it how you wish. Do you feel then, as an Israeli dissident, are you in a sense a Jewish Palestinian, or would you want to be one day? Take that however you interpret it.
So my legal status under Israeli apartheid is being a privileged Israeli Jew. It's not because I define myself as Israeli or Jewish. I could care less about these things. But this is the way I'm legally defined in the law. My citizenship is Israeli, but my nationality is not Israeli because there is no such thing in Israel. My nationality is, according to the state, Jewish. My fellow citizens in Israel, their nationality, they're also citizens of the state, but their nationality would be Arab or Circassian or Druze. Israel recognizes over 130 different nationalities other than one, which is Israeli nationality. If it did recognize having an Israeli nationality, it would mean that there would be some basis under the law where there would be equal standing, and that goes against everything that the Zionist race state is about. It needs to segregate and separate in the law and make me by law a privileged citizen in order to be able to carry on doing whatever it does.
So citizenship and nationality are not the same thing?
They are not synonymous in Israel. And that also means that every single Israeli passport is a fraudulent document. Because my Israeli passport, like every other passport, says in Hebrew that my citizenship is Israeli, which is correct. But in English, which is the important part, it says that my nationality is Israeli. And as I mentioned a moment ago, that is an absolute flat-out lie. It was taken all the way to the Supreme Court in Israel about the whole thing about Israeli nationality, and the Supreme Court said we cannot acknowledge having an Israeli nationality because that would undermine the very character of the State of Israel, quote-unquote, from the Supreme Court of Israel, the main tool of apartheid and genocide. So by law, there is no such thing as Israeli nationality, and by law that means that every single Israeli passport ever created is a fraudulent document, and I would expect and I demand that Israeli passports will not be accepted in any border control anywhere around the world.
I don't have enough time to go into just how criminal Starmer is, how responsible he is for the butchering and the slaughtering of thousands upon thousands of Palestinians and other people around the world. But I will mention one thing. In 2011, the law was changed in the UK to remove international jurisdiction. Tzipi Livni, the orchestrator of the massacre of 2008, also known as Operation Cast Lead, was not arriving in the UK, and because she was accused of war crimes, and for that very purpose, in order to protect Israeli war criminals, the law was changed in this country. In 2011, Livni arrived here after the law was changed, and an arrest warrant was issued. This landed in the hands of Sir Keir Starmer. Starmer actively protected that war criminal, which later on, in 2014, she also orchestrated the massacre back then called Operation Protective Edge, where 551 children were murdered, 89 families obliterated. This is what Starmer has basically put forward. The same Tzipi Livni has later been elected to be director of Elbit Systems. Elbit Systems is a murder factory, murder corporation, which is based, its business model is that of terror and genocide. A murder factory which I myself, along with some other people, a wonderful group of people, we took up sledgehammers and went to smash that factory. That Elbit Systems, which operates in the UK, still operates in the UK, not for long as far as we are concerned, not for long as we are standing, that Elbit Systems has been on the ground. Their personnel were on the ground alongside the Israeli Air Force. They were making every takeoff and every landing of their newly introduced drone, while the Israeli pilots were dropping the bombs on the children of Gaza, including the 4 Bakr boys who were playing on the beach. They were hunted down by 2 Elbit drones, and Hermes 450 and a Hermes 900, and Elbit personnel were there on the ground. 2 missiles were fired at the children, 30 seconds apart. They were hunted down along the beach. That is the story. That is what is happening. That is what is also happening today, only in a greater scale. So it is up to us, the people, to stand up to that. With this very grim and dark situation, there is also a light at the end of the Gaza tunnel, because the situation is changing. It is so unbearable, it is so horrible, that finally the people of the world are starting to get some sense. They're starting to finally realize, the governments of the world, some of them less so in the UK, are starting to realize what this is all about. They are taking it all the way to the highest court, the ICJ, where the crime of crimes is being discussed, and it is very clear that Israel is responsible for that worst crime known to humanity. So things are changing. It is in our hands. So let us stand up, speak up, and fight Zionism until eventually we will bring a better and brighter future for all the sons and daughters of Palestine.